Howdy, howdy, howdy. I want to talk to y'all today about a controversial figure named Andrew Tate. I don't claim to be an expert on knowing everything about Andrew Tate. I only learned about Andrew about a year and a half ago, roughly. Whenever he got canceled off all major social media, year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, that's when I heard about it. And it was only because he got canceled. It was all over the, alt media, the social media, that he got canceled. And I was like, who's Andrew Tate? Honest to God, I'd never heard of the guy. And apparently he was really, really big, famous, the most Googled man on earth even before that. Again, I'd never heard of him. And I was asking some of my friends who were posting about it. He's a scumbag. He's great. He's amazing. He's an asshole. I was like, who is this guy? And some people that I know personally, and I was asking about him online, they said, oh, he's this controversial figure. He's a kickboxer, and you'd like him, Caleb. He talks about being a man's man and doing what's right, what you got to do to build yourself up, and don't take crap and don't make excuses and yada yada yada. I thought, okay, well, I'll look him up. I looked him up and I watched some of his stuff, and he came across as real abrasive, but he's a smart guy. There's no denying that. But and I liked a lot of what he had to say. A whole lot of what he had to say, even some of the more controversial parts. But I never, I just look him up here and there as he kept getting, in the headlines and stuff. And it's come to, I'd heard back then people that were calling him a scumbag back then say he's I don't know what words I can use, a trafficker. And I was like, yeah, I've heard, people accuse people that are controversial of actual bad things all the time, and we've all been lied to. And I was like, and I kind of doubted it. I suspected it, but I thought I better hold off before I say anything. But some of the things that have come to light as of recently, with all his property being seized by the remaining authorities, DCOT, whatever they're called, multiple times, jailed several times. As of recent, there's some things that have come out that I've finally came to the realization, all right, this guy is not exactly who he says he is. And he recently did an interview with Candace Owens, who I've liked a lot of what Candace has said. But there's something just not quite right about her either, and I can't quite put my finger on it with her, what it is. Well, this isn't about her. But anyway, again, and I want to, before I go any further, I want to say this. Be careful who you look up to. And also, two things about the same person can be true. And what I mean by that, something terrible about somebody can be true, and something good about somebody can also be true. For an example, with Andrew Tate, if in fact it is revealed and he is convicted and it's proven without a shadow of a doubt that he did do those things to those young girls, and yes, 15 years old is underage, I don't care what anyone says. In the United States, the age of consent is 18. I'm pretty sure in UK the age of consent is 16. Some say other cultures it might be as young as 15, possibly 14, but that's crossing the line. And if in fact he's proven he did those awful things that you'll just have to read between the lines of words I can't say on YouTube. If he in fact did those things, they're awful, and the man deserves prison. And at the same time, the parts of Andrew Tate where he has preached about being a man, doing the work, getting in shape, getting money, not getting yourself where you don't have to grovel at anybody's feet, those can also be true, and they will still be true. However, just because, and I've even heard his, if I'm not mistaken, his lawyer claimed this, just because someone does a world of good by promoting good things, healthy things to people, doesn't mean they get a pass for doing the bad things, the crimes, especially when it comes to assault, that kind of assault in particular. And I say this not just about Andrew Tate, but anyone. Obviously, if you followed me, I was on a mission for the longest time of exposing my own ex-wife and the horrible things she was doing to our children. And I'm on record as saying this as well. Just because she did some of these that I consider bad things doesn't mean that there's also some good things about her. And I'm giving this example for a reason, because if you're watching me, it's because you've seen the Parker movie, the Blaine series. I'm on record, there are some good things about their mother. And I'll give you an example. For instance, when the children were young, when it came to proper clothing, making sure they weren't sick, making sure they were well fed, making sure they didn't run out in the street, my kids had the best mother there ever was. I'm open about that. Obviously, I don't like her for many other reasons, but two things about the same person can be true. And the same goes for her, or Andrew Tate, or me, or anyone for that matter. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up, is be careful who you put up on a pedestal. I've got a quote or a saying that I kind of live by. It says, question everything. I've literally got it tattooed on my arm in the font of "In God We Trust" on the $1 bill with the all-seeing eye. It says question everything, and a sub-rule of that is question everyone. Don't get so caught up in making heroes out of everyone or anyone that you look up to, because almost everyone has got some kind of deep, dark secret that they don't want you to know about. There's nothing wrong with privacy, but I mean a deep, dark secret as in a dark secret, as in sinful, as in evil, as in if in fact it turns out, and it looks like it is true, what Andrew Tate did to those young girls, that is a sin. It's not only a sin, it is evil, it is wrong, and that is not something that you should someone you should look up to in as far as how do you achieve what somebody like Andrew Tate has achieved. I mean, he's a multimillionaire, possibly a billionaire. Well, he was. And there's nothing wrong with it, with pursuing money. There's nothing wrong with that at all. The Bible talks about the love of money is the root of all evil, and a lot of people get that confused with money being the root of all evil. And it's not money itself. There's nothing inherently wrong with money itself. It's the love of money. It's the morals that you personally have that you'll compromise in order to get that money. And for instance, again, there's nothing wrong with Andrew Tate making the money. I don't begrudge the guy. I'm glad he did. Good for him. However, it's real easy to make a lot of money once you have startup capital. It's real easy, for instance, cryptocurrency. A lot of people don't understand it. I'm not an expert on it, but I certainly understand the base of it. It's real easy to find the 4-year cycle, buy low, wait a couple years, sell high, and make 10, 20, 50, 100 times on your money. That's real easy to do. What's hard is having the money in a bear market to buy the correct coins and then waiting the 2 years, living below your means, in order to sell at the very top. That's the hard part, is the collateral. He openly talks about getting his start outside of his boxing career, his whatever kind of MMA or kickboxing, whatever he is, outside of that, he really got his seed money from, I don't know the words, the corn industry. You'll just have to read between the lines, by using these young girls. And he openly brags about swapping out the keyboards to these simps, these weak, wealthy men, and they'd be watching her, but he's the one typing things out. It's fraud, it's deception, and it's not right. A lot of people say, well, it's not illegal. Yeah, but selling online jewelry to gullible grandmas and taking their life and savings may not be illegal either, but it's certainly immoral. And it's amazing to me that this has to be pointed out. You shouldn't do that. Of all people, I don't like simps and beta cucks as much as anybody on earth. But then to turn around and say, be honest and hardworking, and that's the only way you'll get it. And then in Andrew's case, to belittle and shame people who are still poor, or still working on themselves, just because they don't have the hundreds of millions of dollars that guy's got. It's just completely dishonest. There's a clip where he's talking to Candace Owens, where he's talking about be an honest person and don't surround yourself with dishonest people. Get away from dishonest people. And he's the same guy just a few years ago on these clips that are coming up. The same guy is openly bragging about duping lots of men out of hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million, by tricking people. That is not an honest service. A plumber offers an honest service. A mechanic offers an honest service. An accountant offers an honest service. Hell, for that matter, a street prostitute offers an honest service. You know what you're getting into. Yeah, I know there's morality arguing about that, but tricking people in order to get seed money to invest in cryptocurrencies and then real estate, you know, it's easy. Like in this last crypto cycle, I made 27x on my money, roughly. I invested all I could pull together. I'd been studying it for years, but I got serious about it in 2020 when I sobered up. And all I could scrape together was $1,800. My account got up to $57,000. Unfortunately for me, I didn't know when to sell. I didn't sell enough. I sold some, but not enough. If I would have had $1 million to invest, I know the market, I would have 27x my money and made $27 million. And then I'd be a multi-millionaire. But I didn't have it, and I was not, and I'm still not willing to do this, I don't know, whatever, Tate, Cobra University, whatever his scam is, in order to find a bottom bitch or two and pimp them out and scam these overweight, alcoholic, pill-popping dudes that, again, I am very, very critical of. I'm not into duping other weak men and then reduping other dudes to buy my program, telling them not to be weak men while your whole entire business is duping them. How is that any different than the loose women that Andrew Tate criticizes? Or any red pillar for that matter. Even me. How is he any different? Without naming names, I've known people like Andrew in my life. They didn't have quite as many zeros on the end of their bank account or the end of their crypto account as he does, but they would say a lot of really good things. And I did learn some things from them when I was younger. And I got to know some of these people personally. And without exception, I'm trying to think, yeah, for the most part, without exception, when you get to know them, like in real life, and you see how they behave behind the curtain, you feel stupid. I felt stupid. I still feel stupid. And that's why I don't put anybody up on a pedestal. Maybe Ron Paul. He's just a big name that I can think of as an exception. I would put that man up on a pedestal. I'm sure he's done some things earlier in his career that maybe he's not proud of. I don't know, but the man has been consistent for 50 years. There's record of it. Anyways, just be young people. I'm specifically address the people who watch me according to YouTube are between like 17 and 35, and just be careful who you put up on a pedestal, and I include myself in that. I'm obviously nowhere near the caliber as far as popularity as someone like Andrew Tate, or I don't even know who the big names are because I just don't follow them very much. Whoever it is you put up on a pedestal, just be real careful and not only question everything, but question everyone. And I include myself in that. And anyone that would either directly say or insinuate, don't question, question everyone else but me, that is a red flag. You can get little tidbits of wisdom from lots of people, even people who have done bad things, but just be careful, because for one reason, once you find out, it's a hell of a letdown. And two, if you find out and you are in denial because you've created your whole persona around somebody else, you don't want to admit to yourself, certainly not the world, that you've been duped, because nobody likes to be made to look like a fool. I don't know anybody that does. Even though I've made a fool of myself plenty of times, particularly back when I was drinking. But I'm open about it. I wasn't then. I was ashamed of it. That's why I hid it. I don't know if Andrew Tate's ashamed of what he did to those, or allegedly did to those young girls, or not. I'd like to think he could realize it, but I kind of doubt it. Publicly, he says he's done nothing wrong. And if in fact it is proven that he did what he did, then that just ought to tell you something else about the guy. If he's not even willing to apologize and admit to the world that he screwed up really, really bad, when you can't admit when you were wrong, I know this word gets thrown out there way too much in the last 10 years. That is a true narcissist. Contrary to popular belief, narcissistic traits are common, but actual true narcissism or narcissistic people, they're not that common. The narcissists are very, very, very intelligent. They're not stupid. They're not somebody you simply don't like. They're not just your ex because she cheated on you or he cheated on you. Just because they behave badly, that doesn't necessarily mean they're narcissists. And a lot of times, dumb people conflate the two, and they're just different. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents about Andrew Tate. If in fact it turns out that some of these videos we're seeing are AI, that's a possibility. I'm open to being wrong. If in fact he's not guilty, or maybe if he got a little too close to the line, but, didn't cross that line and he apologized, I don't know. I'm open to be proven wrong. I actually hope I am wrong, because that would mean that those crimes against those girls didn't happen. It's just not looking like that's the case. It's really looking like he knew what he was doing and he didn't care, because he lives his life completely through his cock. And when a man does that, and they get too cocky, it's A, not a good look, and B, regardless of what your religious beliefs is, I happen to I've come back around into Christianity, but karma will catch up, and it does catch up. So anyways, hope y'all having a good day. I have been back in South Florida for about a month now, and I've been working out. That's why I got my shirt off, showing off my sexy bod. But I've gone down from 213 to 204. I've lost 9 pounds, and I've got about 15 pounds to go. And still waiting on the crypto market to do its thing, whenever it's going to do it. I firmly believe we're still in a bull run. So I was going to make more of these more often, but I've about decided I'm not a very good YouTuber. I got lucky a couple times. But occasionally when things like this come up, I'll address people if it's pertinent to me, or, you know, if, like in this case with Andrew Tate, a lot of his followers or fans or whatever are young people, similar to me. Again, two things can be right about the same person, even though they're opposing. He's not everything he says is all bad. So be careful when someone says, well, he did this one bad thing, therefore you should never listen to anything Andrew Tate say. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. The parts about Andrew Tate, about being a man and manning up and doing the hard work and staying in shape and eating right, those are all good things. You'll never hear me disagree with them or say you shouldn't do them. That's what I still do. However, I'm not going to stoop to the level of pimping and duping weak men. I'll ridicule them, and I'll occasionally shame them. And, you know, not all shaming's bad. I wish more people would have shamed me back when I was a drunk. Said, Caleb, I wish they'd have said, Caleb, you're a pathetic drunk. Put the bottle down. Do something about your weight. You got to be around to finish raising your kids. If you want to live a healthy life, this isn't the way. I wish someone would have shamed me a little more. It's not to be a bully. It's to get it through your thick skull when you're young that you don't necessarily know everything. So anyway, I'll zip it for now. Y'all take care. Hope everyone's doing well, and be safe. Consider not hitting your cheer-ins. Bye.